check. I need the money and power, respect, but I promise I'm repping the O to the dead. Hey, oof, I sold them out of my way. I don't got nothing to say. Now they can't run at my pace. Yeah, they know that we ain't the same. 402, we rap the game. I told them this ain't a game.
Yo, what is up, beautiful people? Hey, it's another Finn's Take with CB83, a sighting, a show. Hey, we're getting it cracking tonight. You guys already know what time it is. Hey, shout out to everybody in the building thus far. We definitely got a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss. A lot of moves being made on the Miami Dolphins end. A lot of moves being made. A lot of people were complaining about offensive line help. They were complaining about, the trenches. Trench mob got beefed up a little bit last week, man. We got a tight end. We got a couple of tackles in. This is exactly what you guys wanted. This is exactly what you wanted. I appreciate you guys coming out tonight. Be sure to hit the like on your way in. You already know what time it is. We're getting after it. Another show. Be sure to hit the like. 762 subscribers, guys. I'm getting close. Working my way to 1,000. Almost at 800. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. What's good to the fellas in the chat? I got my man Aqua in here. Aquavision says hello, chat. My man Raul P in the building. You already know what time it is, Raul. You know how we get down over here, bro. Let me know how my volume is. Let me know how my audio is. You already know what time it is, man. We get it cracking over here. Yes, sir. You already know what time it is. Hey, we got a lot of people live right now. Hit the like on your way in. Share, subscribe. You know how we're getting it cracking over here on this Wednesday night, man. Shout out to my guy, Raul P. Raul P. always in the building. It says the best thing in Boston is the Logan Airport. Shit, it might not even be that. Well, nothing about Boston is like that. Nothing about Boston at all, man. What's good with y'all, man? My man Cruz in the building. Cruz says, what's good, CB? What's good, Cruz? I got my day ones in here. My man S. Harris, he said, what's good, fam? What's good with you, man? Another beautiful day, man. Like Shake says, another beautiful day in Zamunda, man. Shout out to all you guys. I just wanted to come to you, talk a little Miami Dolphins, talk a little about what we have going on, right now, right? Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. And I wanted to pull out my notes on this because I want to just kind of go through some things and talk through some of what we did last week. And let's start off with the offensive line, right? So we added some depth to the offensive line last week. We added Cedric Ogwe, something like that, right? He's from the Jets, right? He's a tackle. And we also added Isaiah Wynn from the Patriots. Both, I think, good signings, depth signings. I've heard people talk about the Wynn signing and how the Miami Dolphins plan to move him to guard, right? And I don't think I'm really cool with that. And I'm going to tell you guys why I'm not cool with that. Because we really don't have, to be completely honest with you, I don't think we have a starting caliber right tackle on the roster ahead of this signing, right? And I know Austin Jackson only played 84 snaps last year prior to getting hurt. So he played about 80 snaps. He got hurt. And then he really had a hard time getting back on the field because the guys who were in there, Brandon Shell, and the other guys were playing a little bit better than he was. And honestly, I saw Brandon Shell kind of staying around to be a piece for this team. Now, I don't know what happened, whether it was Brandon Shell feeling like he should be starting over Austin Jackson or the team just feeling like he wasn't good enough, which I don't see that being the case because he was, he played last year. But I'm just not sure what was going on with that. And it seems like in my opinion, I think Isaiah Wynn is being brought in to play right tackle, right? In my opinion. Now, I think Austin Jackson would be better suited at the left guard spot, um, fighting for the left guard spot and playing swing tackle in the event that we need somebody. That's just my opinion on it. So Austin Jackson's played guard before. And I think Austin Jackson is a better guard than Liam Eichenberg. I think that's what that situation is. So we still have another guy there in Dan Feeney, which we don't know what we're going to get from him yet. But I think that left guard spot should really be up for grabs with Dan Feeney, Liam Eichenberg, and Austin Jackson, kind of rounding that out. Isaiah Wynn is a proven player in the NFL, had a good college career at the University of Georgia. A solid tackle. Now I know people say, hey, he made the move from left tackle to right tackle last year, and he was bad. They say he wasn't good. His PFF grade was pretty low. I agree with that. But every system is different, and the play calling is gonna dictate how well he plays in our system. So when it comes to Isaiah Wynn playing tackle here, I like to see him man the right side, Armstead man the left side, and us go about it that way. And let them guys fight it out in the middle for that left guard spot. That's what I want to see. And then whoever doesn't end up getting in position, they serve as a depth piece. I think that's the best way to approach it. So I've heard the chatter. A lot of people saying, "Oh, we need to move him to guard," and I just don't agree with it. And I know that's the Miami Dolphins way to get a player and move their position and have them playing a first year as a totally different position, right? Fit a square peg in a round hole. That's what they're used to doing. But hopefully that's not the case here. I hope they brought him in to play right tackle, and we'll see how that works out. Now, the Cedric signing from the Jets, I'm not sure if he can compete for a starting spot, but we'll see. We bring in 2 tackles in a week, and we also signed a tight end in Tyler Croft. So we got some help in the room. And I think the Tyler Croft signing was a good signing too. He's made some plays. He's a big body tight end. He can block. He can move a little bit. I like it. So shout out to everybody in the chat. Hit the like on your way in. Appreciate all y'all. I got the homies in here: Aqua, Raul P, Cruz, S. Harris. Man, shout out to y'all, man. So that's the O-line situation. Now, in talking about our O-line situation, let's discuss it a little bit. Now, I don't think the Miami Dolphins had a bad offensive line last year, right? I don't think our O-line was bad. I think our O-line at times were at a disadvantage because of the play calling. I heard, who did I hear? I heard Louis Riddick talk about it. And I kind of put it on the show maybe a week ago or so. Louis Riddick said, hey, Mike McDaniels needs to be better for those guys. He needs to call plays that are going to allow them to play heavy on their hands and play aggressive. It really makes a difference with play calling. Play calling really makes a difference. So if your play calling is aggressive and you're running the ball and you're mixing it up and you're giving your guys your ability to fire off and not just sit back and get hit constantly in pass pro, then those guys will play better for you. And that's what we saw in games last year. I think the best game the Dolphins played offensively was the Cleveland game, in my opinion. It was just a well-rounded game. The fullback was involved. The tight ends were involved in the run game. We ran the ball well. We were balanced. Play action was on point, and we just operated, right? We operated because we ran the ball well, and that's going to be instrumental. And I know Mike McDaniels knows this. He's admitted this. It's going to be instrumental in our success moving forward is running the football. And when it comes to running the football, we have, some solid receivers. Solid running backs. We have, Mostert. We have Wilson. We have A-Chain. We have Gaskins and Ahmed too, right? We don't see all those guys making that room. But we also have the ability, and that Dalvin Cook thing is still dangling out there, still dangling. And I think June 1st we'll know a little bit more about that situation. And it seems like Dalvin is going to be on the move, right? Now, I hear people say, hey, I don't like the Dalvin Cook signing. I don't want him. I don't understand it. And that's because whenever you have the opportunity to upgrade your situation, if you have an opportunity to upgrade your running back room, you gotta do it. Like, I don't see why you wouldn't want to do it. So that's my thing with the Dalvin Cook signing, and especially if you have the resources, if you have the funds and you're gonna get the money, the Byron Jones money is coming back to us. We may move some other guys, right? So all that's happening. I think you got to make a play for Dalvin. And I like the Dalvin Cook signing, not only because, he's a good running back, but it forces Mike McDaniel to get him involved in the run game. When you have a higher price guy in that room, you got to be efficient with him. You got to use him. It's like the Tyreek Hill situation. When Tyreek Hill came over here, he's a $30 million receiver. Mike McDaniels has to find a way to get him the ball. And people will say, hey, he was forcing Tyreek the ball. He was trying to get him the ball and forcing him the ball. And as a result of that, the offense wasn't moving. Is it him forcing the ball because he's trying to get him the yardage, or is it him forcing the ball because he wants to win the game? He knows his best chance is getting the ball into Tyreek Hill's hands. So you got to look at it like that too. And when you have a guy like Dalvin Cook, he's going to bring a different element to your offense. Teams have to game plan for him. He's a threat in the screen game, in the running game, in the passing game. He's a great check down underneath guy. He's done it a lot. He's proven. He's had 1,000-yard seasons, 4 of them, 4 straight, right? So there's a lot there, and I think you got to take that into consideration. You have to. So that's why I do like the Dalvin Cook signing. Now, we also signed some other guys. We signed a DB Bryce Thompson out of the XFL, and that's what the Miami Dolphins are doing. They're signing guys to make for a competitive camp, and really to get the best roster, best 53, right? That's what you got to do at this point. So they know, hey, iron sharpens iron. If iron sharpens iron, you got to get the best guys you can on the roster, and then let them fight it out. Let them fight it out. See who has the technique. See who can play well enough for, Mike Fangio and Mike McDaniel to feel comfortable about, solidifying these guys on the roster. So that's what you're looking at. Hey, shout out to the homie Canes in the building. Shout out to you, bro. You already know what time it is. We getting it in over here. Yes, sir. Hey, we getting it in. Hey, shout out to you, Kane. Shout out to everybody in the chat too, man. Appreciate y'all, man. Just over here kicking it. So we talked a little bit about the offensive line. We talked about the Dalvin situation. I wanted to talk about the schedule a little bit too, right? And I saw a lot of people do breakdowns and stuff. I wanted to share. Let me see something real quick. So I wanted to share this with you guys. I wanted you guys to take a look at this. So this is our schedule for next year, right? So wanted to talk a little bit about the schedule because I know that's going to be like important, regarding how we move, how we go about it. When we look at it, I mean, we're on the road the first 2 weeks, right? So week 1, and I'm gonna get the chat involved a little bit. Ask you guys how you feel about these games. I'm gonna kind of go through and tell you how I feel about it as well. I like us in a lot of these matchups. And that's why I think this team is going to be, really, I think this team is going to be really good, right? Now, week 1, we play the Chargers away in Cali, right? So we're in LA week 1. Week 1, I have that as a win for us, right? We've played the Chargers before. We played them last year, lost to them in a very close game, right? So lost to them in a close game last year. We played him when Tua was a rookie and beat him. But I like us in this matchup. I like us week 1 in LA. I like us week 2 versus New England and New England. And I like the fact that we're playing them early at home too. That kind of sets us up for success, which is solid. And I like that. So week 2, I got us as a dub too. What do you guys think about that? Week 1, week 2, win or loss? I like both of those as W's. Week 3, first home game versus the Broncos. I like us in that one too, right? We're on get back. We haven't played them in a couple years, but we owe them one because they did beat us the last time they played us. So we owe the Broncos one. That's a home game. Week 4 in Miami. I mean, not week 4 in Miami, but week 4. Basically, week 4 is away. We play the Bills in New York because they don't want to come down to Miami when it's hot. So the NFL gave them a game where they didn't have to play us in the heat, which is wild. I didn't understand that. But I think that's a toss-up. I think that one can go either way. I think we're going to split with the Bills. I'm realistic. I mean, these are division games. So division games are typically going to be splits, in my opinion. We split with them last year. The New York Giants at home, I'm counting that as a win. Panthers at home, I'm counting that as a win. Philly, it's going to be a tough one. Maybe that's our first loss. I think if we're gonna win one, maybe that's our second loss. After the Bills game, maybe that's our second loss. I like us beating the Bills. I think we have the ability to beat the Bills twice. But I do think the Eagles game will be a tough game. Honestly, it's just going to come down to who makes the plays. I think that's what it comes down to at that point. I like us beating New England twice. I like us winning that week 8 game. Week 9, we go to Germany, right? So we go to Germany week 9, and we get to travel, check those guys out over in Germany. That's going to be a tough one too. I think we can win that game also. Call me a homer, but I think it could go either way also. So, I mean, right there, so by week 9, we could be, 6-3, or we could be 7-2. I'm banking on us being at least 7-2 by week 9. So 2 losses by week 9. We could be 9-0, 8-1, but I'm saying, hey, we probably have 2 losses by week 9. So week 10, we have our bye. The Raiders at home, I'm counting as a win. The Jets at home, Jets away. I'm counting that as a win, man. I'm counting that as a win, especially since this is our first time seeing them with Aaron Rodgers. I think we get up for that game. It's on Black Friday. I think it's going to be a great matchup, and I think we get the win there. So I still have us at, basically 10-2 at this point, or 9-2 at this point. Yeah, basically 9-2. Then Washington, we go to Washington. I think that's a win. I think Tennessee at home is a win. I think the Jets at home is either a win or a loss. It could be a split, right? I said division games are typically split. The only division team I think we don't split with and we automatically beat them twice is the Patriots. I think that's the case. The Jets. So I think we split with the Jets, but I think we're going to get At least one dub, maybe two. I don't think they're that good of a team. And then we got the Cowboys at home. I like us versus the Cowboys Christmas Eve. And Ravens may be a tough one away. Um, they're gonna come ready to play for sure after we beat up on them last time. Tua threw them 6 tutties, right? And then week 18, you got the Bills at home. So I think the schedule is set up for us to succeed. I mean, that last stretch is pretty tough. But there's going to be more than enough chances for us to go out here and make plays, really get after it, and solidify ourselves as a team in the NFL. What's good with you, Mansa Chill? What's popping? Mansa Chill says, "What's up, CBD3? What's good, my boy?" Raul P says, "I'm going to the crib in October against the Panthers, and we'll be in Philly too." Okay, I like that, bro. I'm gonna try to go to at least 3 games, probably 2 at the least, probably 3 to 4 at the max. But I would like to go to the Germany game. I think that'd be a cool game to go to over there. Hopefully we can make that happen for the boy, man. So would love to get out to Germany to see the Dolphins play, man. What else did we want to talk about? There's a couple more things we needed to talk about. So we talked about offensive line. We talked about, and I've been talking for about 20 minutes now. I appreciate y'all. My man Triple S in the building. What's good, Triple S? He says, "What's up, CB? I'm likely going to the home game versus the Jets." Nice. So that's what game is that? That is, what week is that? That is week 15. December 17th, which is my pop's birthday. Hey, maybe I'll take Pops down there for his birthday, man. Maybe I'll do a little something. What's up, Pops? If you're watching, Pops kind of get on YouTube sometimes and check me out too, man. So yeah, man. But shoot off a question, man. Let me know what you guys think. I think the Dolphins are prime. There hasn't been a lot of news, but the Dolphins have been kind of doing their thing and building the roster the right way. I think there's only a couple more moves that could get us over the hump, and that would be the Dalvin Cook signing for sure, right? I think Dalvin Cook really just takes us to another level, right? And people are really, AFC is on notice if Dalvin comes back to the crib. Hopefully we can make that happen, man. Do I think Dalvin comes in and just gets us over the top right away?
I hope so.
Okay. Yeah, I hope so, man. I mean, Dalvin is a solid piece, bro. Really a solid piece. Commands the defense. Linebackers got to pay attention to him. He's sneaky. He's sneaky good, bro. He's sneaky good. So I think that Dalvin signing is the play. I mean, that's the only thing at this point I could really say I want to happen is Dalvin Cook signing. Maybe you add some defensive tackle depth because you're really not stacked there. You got Raekwon Davis, you got Seiler, you got Christian Wilkins. Maybe you add some guys there, but outside of there, I don't see much. And Triple S asked a good question. He says, "Do we need more O-line depth pieces? I see us with 3 solid backups right now. Do we need a 4th?" I say yes if we can get a value pickup. Yeah, and I agree with you. I think having 10 really good 10 really good pieces on the offensive line is a great way to be. I don't know if you carry 10, but at least having 10 with one on the practice squad or something like that. I think you really want to have enough guys in the event that someone goes down. And the Miami Dolphins are in a really peculiar situation because when it comes down to it and you look at, what happened last year, Austin Jackson only played 84 snaps. Teron Armstead played 13 games instead of, the full 17 or 16 games. You gotta have some depth there. So I agree with you. I think the Dolphins could use a little more. I like the tackle signings. I think they could use another guard signing, a guard slash center, because I don't think we have a guy right now that could back up Connor Williams. So what I'd like to see is a guy that's brought in who can play center, play guard, provides you with some depth on the interior. You kind of got your depth on the outside. I mean, you got 4 guys who can play tackle out there. You got Armstead, you got Wynn, you got Oguib, you got Jackson, Wynn, Ogbe, and Armstead. So that's 4 guys, right? So you got 4 guys at tackle who can fight and play for those spots. You still got your interior guys, Leon Eichenberg, Dan Feeney, Robert Hunt, Austin Jackson can play swing. So I think you could use a guy there. So I think we need like a center slash guard guy. And I mean, it kind of rounds off the room. Master Chill says, I hope so. That's that Kodak, boy. It's that Kodak. Shout out to everybody in the room. Hey, please hit the like on your way in. We got about 10 in the room, people coming in. I appreciate y'all, man. Irv says, what it is. Irv, what it do, man? Me and Irv be in these spaces getting after it, man. Killing these dudes. Killing the wolf pack one by one. Sniper gang, bang. Sniper gang, bang, man. We be killing the wolf pack. He says, what's up, Canes? Triple S says, especially when 2 starters are question marks. Yeah, could miss time, Liam and Austin, and another. Yeah, bro. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to have that depth on the offensive line in the event that those guys miss time. I really don't like the thought of shuffling the offensive line. I don't like it. I like the offensive line to be consistent, to have maybe one guy out, 1 to 2 weeks, right? And then maybe another guy out 1 to 2 weeks. But I don't like having 2 guys out here this week. And it just becomes a lot for the quarterback and the offense to deal with. Because it's when you're shuffling like that and you're used to guys playing next to you, you're used to the communication you guys have built in camp and, throughout the year. It's tough for guys to come in and be able to transition. It's not easy, right? Especially if they haven't played and they don't know the verbiage you've been using. So I'd like to see us stay healthy, be consistent along the offensive line. Like, that's part of us. That's really part of our success. People talk about Tua being healthy. The offensive line needs to be healthy too. And I mean, no doubt about that. We shuffled guys all last year. And it was like, man, like, are we seriously doing this again? Playing musical chairs with the offensive line? And that's what I didn't want to see. He says, I think Finney can play center. Yeah, I think Finney can play center too. I don't know if he's going to be the backup guy there. But he is another depth piece. He could play that center guard spot, but I do want to see another guy brought in that could do that, because he's played. I've seen that he's played center before. And as an offensive line coach, I didn't like shuffling my guys. I wanted my guys to get used to playing with each other, get used to the calls. There's a lot of communication along the offensive line that needs to happen, and you don't really get it unless you're in the game, right? You can't get it on the sideline. You got to be getting reps in the game. So I think that's an important aspect to us being successful, is us being able to be consistent along the offensive line. And Mike McDaniels has got to help those guys out. He's got to call some run plays and get downhill and allow those guys to tee off a little bit more. I felt like at times we were just kind of sitting back and taking it way too much, just way too finesse up front. So we got to be a little bit better up front for sure and get after it, because I don't like to see us being this finesse team that we're just going to get our hand, throw the ball around the yard. Nah, we got to get downhill. We got to be balanced. The best offenses in the NFL are the ones that are balanced. And we had some conversations about being a game managing quarterback last night on my guy Mace's channel. Shout out to my homie Mace. And when we look at quarterbacks in the NFL, there's really only a few that are elite at what they do, right? And that are a system in themselves, and that at any time can call a play, change a play, and make a play. There's only a few guys like that. I think Tua is the best when he has a really good run game. Because when you have a really good run game, the play action is a big threat, right? I think he's Tua's attention to detail when it comes to the play action, the way he sells his fakes, the way he's looking off defenders, really good. He's really good at that. So you got to use that to your advantage. The play action's got to be efficient, but in order for the play action to be efficient, you have to be running the ball well. You got to be running the ball well. So running the ball well is going to be essential. Can we run the ball well with Mostert and Wilson? Yeah, I mean we averaged 4 yards a clip last year. So we averaged 4 yards a clip last year. And we can do it again, but we also were last in attempts. Like we were also like bottom 3 teams in attempts. Like we can't be bottom 3 attempts. Bottom 3 teams in attempts. We have to be. I think we should need to be top 5, top 10 in run attempts. I think that's where we need to be in order for us to be successful as an offense. And Mike McDaniels is a really smart guy, right? So he goes back. He has OCD. I'm sure he watches a lot of film, right? I'm sure he's looking at what worked well. And guys, in order to be an NFL coach and a coordinator, you have to be really methodical, right? You got to watch film. You got to look at tendencies. You got to look at defense's tendencies. You got to look at your tendencies on offense. Are you tipping the hat to the defense? Are you tipping the hat to the offense? Like you've got to be really detailed in regards to how you approach the game. Mike McDaniels understands this, and he goes back and watches the film. I'm sure he's watched probably thousands of hours of film after the season, watching what he did wrong, where he could have called plays differently, where he made his mistakes. And he acknowledged it in the offseason. He said, hey, I got to run the ball more. I didn't do my guys any justice by not running the ball more. And he's not talking about just his running backs. He's talking about the offensive line. He's talking about Tua and the receivers also. Because if you run the ball a little bit more and you're efficient with it, you're effective, you get yourself out of some of those 3rd and longs, out of those 2nd and longs, out of those holding penalties, right? Out of those false starts and offsides and stuff like that. If you're running the ball efficiently and you're downhill, you get yourself out of some of those situations. So that's something that Mike McDaniels understands. He's going to work to fix that. The dude, he's a smart dude. And we could tell he's a smart coach by how he approached the game last year. He was dialed in last year when it comes to play calling. Sometimes I felt like he was too dialed in. He was too dialed in terms of passing the ball. But he was really dialed in. It's going to take him being more balanced. I think Fangio is going to help with that too, because he has a wiser guy in your defensive coordinator room, and he can kind of point some things out to Mike McDaniels that he probably wasn't seeing and running his offense last year. So him and Fangio, I'm sure, are in the lab working to figure out the best way to approach it. The best way to run the ball. Are you running the ball to open up the pass? Are you passing the ball to open up the run? Are you doing a little bit of both to keep everything off balance? I mean, those are really good questions that we got to see how we approach it this year. But Mike McDaniels is very solid at what he does. Very good at what he does. Now, the defense, I'm not so much worried about the defense. I think the defense is in good hands with Fangio. I think the cornerback depth, Ramsey, adding guys like that to the room, adding the linebackers, David Long. You already got some experienced guys on the defensive line. I think the defense is going to be fine. I think our defense will come out and play well right away, guys, because defense really isn't complicated. It's really not. Now, you can mix in some stuff to really like get teams off balance. Get the quarterback seeing ghosts. That's what you want. You want them to be looking out there and be confused, like what the hell is going on? Like you want some of that. But we have the talent. The talent is there, no doubt about it. It's just a matter of putting it together at this point. And I think Vic Fangio is just he's going to be the one to put it all together. And I think our defense will come out and play well right away. And that's why I think we're going to win a lot of games early in the season, because a lot of times offenses have a hard time catching up with defenses. Defenses are going to start fast. They're going to start really fast. They play fast. I think our defense out the gate could be locking teams down, locking them down, right? So if they're locking them down and we're efficient and we're scoring points like we need to be, there could be some blowouts early in the season, and I could see that. I could see games where in the third quarter we're playing Mike White or Skylar Thompson, and Tua's chilling, and everybody's hanging out because we've done our job, and the team doesn't have enough to get back in the game, and we're getting our young guys reps, and getting our young guys and our backups reps, just in case later in the season, hey, we need you to step in and make a play, because you might need to make a play in a playoff game or something like that because somebody goes down. And when you look at last year, right? Last year, we were in every game, but every game we're playing down to the wire. Every game. Our defense, we just really couldn't stop anybody, right? They had a hard time stopping anybody. So we're really playing down to the wire in every single game. It gets exhausting. And then also your young guys don't get the reps they need, right? And your young guys don't get the reps they need in the games because you're playing down to the wire. You got to play your starters the whole game. You got to play them the whole game. So if you can get to the point where some of your backups, because we're only gonna be as good as our weakest link. And our weakest link are the guys who are lower down on the depth chart that need to get some reps. If they get some reps in these games early in the season and they could get used to being in the game, then later in the season it becomes easier. It becomes easier for them. It becomes easier for us. And I think it helps the team tremendously, man. You got to get those guys reps. So I like the thought of us really coming out the gate swinging, getting after teams, and really just putting us in a position to succeed later in the season, because we're going to need those guys. We're going to need those guys who are on the bench and haven't played reps. We're going to need them at some point in the season, typically. So like to see some of those guys come out and get some reps early in the season, and let's blow out some teams, man. I'm tired of playing these close ass games. It's enough is enough. Our defense should be stopping teams. We should be scoring points, and we should be rolling. We should be rolling. We should be winning. We should be winning games by 2 scores. There's no excuse for us not winning games by 2 scores, especially when we get into games like Panthers and blow them dudes out, bro. That's what it should be. We should be blowing them dudes out. Yeah, just getting back to the chat. Shout out to everybody in the room. We got 15 in the room. Please hit the like on your way in. I'm about 40 minutes in, but I'm gonna open it up for a little bit. We're gonna talk a little Dolphins. When we look at this, and I'm just kind of go down this real quick. Raul P says, "Are we cutting Cedric Wilson?" I don't think we're cutting Cedric Wilson right now. I think Cedric Wilson is gonna stay in the room unless there's a move made to where somebody wants him and they want to trade for him. Our wide receiver room is stacked. It is. It's stacked. But I don't know if anybody's willing to take on that contract. But we'll see. We'll see how that works out. Mansa Chill says they had us going 8-9 while the Pats go 9-8 and the Jets 10-7. Bro, I can't even take shit like that serious, bro. We've had better records than those teams the past 2 years. Why would, bro? Just stop with the nonsense. Stop with the nonsense. Yeah, Feeney is a center guard, but I still like to see another center guard brought in. I still want to see that. Mansa Chill says, yeah, Sniper Gang, Wolfpack, pow, pow, pow. You already know what time it is. Cruz says, in my opinion, Baker and Raekwon are going to excel in this defense. I also believe Cam Smith will make an immediate impact with Ramsey floating at DB. Do you agree? And any players you think would be surprises? I think we're going to see a better Javon Holland. I think we're going to see Jalen Ramsey play his best football. I think X is going to step up. and play better football with Jalen Ramsey beside him. And I think iron sharpens iron in that DB room. Cam Smith with X, with Jalen Ramsey, with Javon Holland, with Brandon Jones, bro, with Nick Needham back, like, bro, that room is gonna be crazy. That room is gonna be, bro, them dudes gonna be itching to get out there and play. I'm looking forward to it. I know them dudes are gonna come out and make plays. I know Fangio's gonna have them ready to play. They're gonna understand their assignments and know what they need to do. Like, that's what I want to see from them, and that's what it's gonna be, man. My man Dre in the building. Hey, he's click clack. You already know what time it is. Click clack, click clack. Hey, your boy Color owe me some money. Tell Color to have my money. Have my money, boy. You already know what time it is, man. 15 in the room. Click clack. Yes, sir. You already know what time it is, man. Shout out to y'all boys rocking with me on a Wednesday. Fins Take. Hey, Wild Take Wednesday. I'm about to drop this link. Let's go. Let's get it cracking a little bit, man. I did talk. Hey, if you missed the early part of the show, be sure to go back and check it out. I did talk about the offensive line, talked about, what I needed to see from the Dolphins moving forward and all that good stuff, man. All that good stuff. So Triple S says, I'd like to see us top 15 and rush. Of course, that's where we need to be. We need to be top 15, I think top 10, honestly. I think we need to be top 10 in rushing attempts. It's just going to make for a better offense, a more balanced offense. And that's what I want to see. I want to see balance. Balance wins in this league. Like, people talk about Patrick Mahomes and they talk about all these other quarterbacks, but when it comes down to it in the games, in the big games, teams are running the football, right? When we look at these Super Bowls, these quarterbacks become game managers. They got to make plays now, but they become game managers because they're just trying to make enough plays to win the game, not forcing it, not turning the ball over, making enough plays to win the game, running the football, getting after it up front. Irv, I see you in the back, man. You got to hit that. It says device not connected. Be sure to check that out. Triple S, I see you. Mansa Chill. Irv says O-line needs to be coached better, and I'm not criticizing the coaches per se. The tackles have the delay, slow getting out on their pass blocking stance, and when the ball is snapped, when the QB is in shotgun, which makes a pass block from the running back position very important in those situations. If the problem continues, also whenever they sell the outside zone, and that's what we talked about too. And that's what Orlowski was talking about. Irv, what's good? I wanted to get you in here so you could talk a little bit about this.
What's up, man? What's up, CB?
How you
What's
feeling,
good,
man?
homie? Chilling, bro. Just came out of work here. Just got a notification that you were all live, so I'm here.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Shout out to you, bro. I appreciate you coming on. I know. So
Yeah,
you were talking about the offensive line a little bit, and let's address it. You were talking about the play action, the horizontal, and did you see the man or situation?
That's yeah.
Talked about the offensive line and their situation,
Right.
and how that tail on the horizontal was kind of
Mm-hmm.
problem. So you saw that, right?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, cool. And that's what the Dolphins are kind of lacking. And I think when it comes to the play action, right? So there's a couple ways how you can approach play action football, right? Typically, so when we were play actioning, I would tell my guys, hey, it's like a hard slide right? We want to make it look like it's an inside zone or outside zone, but we're going to really hard slide. We're going to stay hip to hip, and we're going to make a wall for the defender, right? So if we make that wall for the defender, for the quarterback, make the wall for the quarterback, then we're set. We're all, it's like a string of pearls, all on the same line.
Right.
There's no body getting through. It's just a complete wall, and everybody's doing their job.
Right.
Now, what happens when it breaks down, Earl?
What happens is you start getting penetration and you start getting splits, and you have the quarterback running basically for his life, because the whole point of doing those hard fakes with the outside zone is to give the quarterback a clean well, once he rolls out, you give him a pretty much a clean area for him to operate, right? And he's kind of like on the move, and you're getting the defense moving horizontally. You're moving the defensive line one way, and your receivers are running the opposite way. So you're kind of stressing the linebackers, because now you're forcing them to cover horizontally. But when the offensive line is not on the same page, and you start seeing those splits, right? You start seeing, guys penetrating, the line itself. That's where you saw that Bengals. Like, if you look at where Tua got hurt, that's what happened in that situation. And obviously Tua needs to just throw the football away and not hold on to it for so long, or find the check down, the leak out, right? So that's one thing. And I seen in shotgun, I seen this in multiple plays, bro. Like, sometimes just the tackles, I saw this in the Browns game too. Like, sometimes they're a little bit slow firing off the snap, bro. And we don't have the best running backs to go out and pass block when we're in shotgun. And that's where you get the injury to Tua. Like, where he got hurt, essentially that's the very same thing. Like, Terran Armstead was very slow getting off his pass block stance, and Chase Edmonds was in that situation. He leaked out. He sold like he was going to block, but then he leaked out to the flat, and then Tua went with the difficult play to Waddle, and he got knocked out in his ass. And so I just think that there needs to be better coaching. And then like I said in those comments, like, I'm not blaming the coaching itself, because remember, this is the first year in this system. This is where the first year where they're playing majority of the snaps inside and outside zone. It's a zone concept, not power gap like we've done in the past. So
right.
I think this is just another, I think this is a situation where these guys need another year for them to get, to get their feet wet in the system and become acclimated to it and just retain this type of scheme. So I think with time, I think the blocking is going to get better. And that's where I think where Liam Eichenberg and Austin Jackson, I know, I've been harsh on those guys or whatever, but if you take in that same, type of thinking, there's definitely a chance where they can get better.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. I think at this point we kind of know what our offensive line is, and like there's plenty of room for growth there. And we know why we brought in other pieces, so we can fill out the room. We want to fill the room with the best 5 guys. So they're thinking, hey, let's go get some guys who, we feel that could come in and compete for a starting spot. And if they aren't starting caliber guys, then they're going to be really good guys that are depth pieces to our team. And hey, in the event that we need them, we have better guys that are at the backup positions. So I mean,
and I think that go ahead, but my bad.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, I think that's where the Dolphins, I think they did a good job addressing the depth positions. We got Isaiah Wynn. We handled the guard position with Dan, with Feeney, the tackle or guard, whether what you like, whatever you choose with Wynn. We have this other guy who was a former first round pick. I think he was from Seattle, right? His name is kind of hard to pronounce, but we signed that other tackle. Yeah, and then we got Gerard Christian. So I think we did a good job of addressing this depth, but also, the Dolphins have been very clear that they're very adamant that they want to have competition at every position, particularly on the offensive line. And this is a situation where the cream really needs to rise to the top, and may the best man win to have the best guy doing the job and give us the best, put us in the best position to succeed this season as far as the offensive line.
Yeah. And I think that's definitely the case, man. And I think when you look at the offensive line, we'll be fine. I mean, I think we were a good unit last year. I think there's room for growth. And I think second year in the system is just going to really do us a lot of justice. And I think Mike McDaniels does run the ball a little bit more. I think he is more balanced in year 2. And I also think, hey, there's a possibility we go get Dalvin. If that happens, then I think that's a totally, that's a totally different element you're adding to this roster as well. So that could be another situation, man. Now let me just go down the chat, and I did drop the link in there for you guys, but I wanted to kind of go back up here and address some questions. Triple S says, question for you, CB, in the chat: do you see Tyndale having a role carved out this year? And that's a good question, but honestly, as a second year player, I just don't want to I don't want to put that pressure on him to become an instrumental piece in the defense. Of course, I'd like to see him get reps and be spot played at times, but I'm not going to say, hey, he's going to be a guy that's going to be instrumental, to our success as a defense. I mean, we have guys in the room that have, 4, 5, 6 years experience. And it's really going to be hard for him to take reps from those guys unless, he's just coming out and balling and he understands the defense and he understands exactly what Fangio's teaching, in terms of the scheme. But we got to remember that, hey, he's learning a new scheme again this year. So he's learning basically a new scheme, new terminology this year. So there's gonna be some sort of learning curve. How do you feel about that, Irv? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think. Listen, I know Channing Tindall. One of his biggest issues since he's been drafted, even going back to Georgia, has been, he needs to develop his, instincts of playing the position, especially on the inside. I know he kind of played inside, outside. So, there's two different like learning curves in that situation, right? You got to have more responsibility there. But I think a major reason why like he didn't play was because he had trouble retaining the playbook. Now he's got something bigger in his play now that this is a more complex scheme, right? Fangio, relies, he requires his linebackers to now, to be more adequate in pass coverage, where they're dropping more into these zones in the middle of the field, and they have to be a little bit better in route recognition and recognizing the routes coming out, whether it's a tight end or running backs or what have you. I think that's where he needs to get better. But I think regarding Tyndall, I think it's best for him to just get more reps in preseason, get more reps in training camp. Mini camp is going to be important as well, and just give them simple stuff. I think Triple S mentioned it. More, maybe have them blitzing more from the weak outside linebacker position. Maybe I don't know.
And I think
some simple stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think when you have a David Long in the room, it's going to help him out. He can kind of play off him. Now I don't know. Maybe Tyndall takes reps from Baker. Like, who knows? I think it's gonna be kind of up in the air how we approach that, and it's really gonna be on him and how he solidifies himself in that room, right? So we'll see. I think it's gonna be good. Him getting a fresh start with Fangio. I think bringing in a new defensive coordinator, he gets to evaluate the whole entire room and figure out where he could use guys best, which is the beauty in it. There's no biases. There's no, this is one of my guys. Of course, he brought in some of his guys, right? Some of the guys he liked. Those guys are going to get reps. We can expect that. That's just the nature of the game. If he's bringing in players to fit a specific role on the defense, then that's where he sees you. That's where you're going to play. So we'll see how that works out, man. But shout out to everybody in the chat, man. I see Bo G in here. Bo G, what's good? He said, CB, what's popping, big dog? What's popping with you, Bo G? Man said chill makes a good point. He says, I want to see White play quarterback with that offense. I want to see it too. I want to see Mike White get some reps late in the game, like, third and fourth quarter. I want to blow out teams. So I want Mike White to get reps in the fourth quarter where he's getting into a rhythm with his guys and he understands what's going on in the offense. We didn't really have the ability to do that last year. Guys were just thrown in because Tua was hurt, right? So guys were thrown in. They didn't know they were going in. I want to see guys get into a rhythm. I want to see our backup quarterback get into a rhythm late in games, in the fourth quarter in games. We didn't have the ability to do that last year. We were just in too many tight games, man. Not enough games where we were stopping teams and blowing teams out, man. So looking forward to that, man. Let me see what else we got here. Across the pond. Shout out to Across the Pond. He says, why so many fans only YouTubers keep saying we get in Dalvin Cook? Because I think Dolphins YouTubers know our team. We know what we want. We know what we need for this roster. I think at this point, the only thing that we could do to, really put this roster over the top is adding a guy like Dalvin Cook. I mean, to be completely honest with you, I mean, do we become a Super Bowl caliber team with Dalvin Cook? What do you think, Irv? You there?
What was the question again?
I said, do we? So he was talking about the Dalvin Cook situation. I think you breaking up a little bit. You there?
Oh, do you hear me? Oh yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I got you now. So the Dolphins right now are a good. They're solid. I think we have a solid roster. I think we have a solid running back room. Does the addition of Dalvin Cook put us on another level? Does it take us to another level as a team?
Oh, absolutely, bro. I mean, you got two of the fastest, more athletic running backs now in the NFL. If you add Dalvin Cook with Devin A-Chain, then you got the guys on the outside with Hill and Waddle, bro. I mean, that's going to be a track team. And then you have the other, contributors, like maybe it's, if he makes the team, Chosen Anderson, who has the ability to stretch the field and help, Waddle and Hill work the inside. You give them plenty of space to operate. Bro, I mean, this is going to force defenses to cover every part of the freaking field. I mean, it is what do you call it? It's a track team. A basketball on grass is, for lack of a better term, this is basketball on grass. And the whole thing, and it seems like Mike McDaniel, to me, prioritizes having more playmakers around Tua than the offensive line, because I think he thinks the offensive line is just fine the way it is, with a little bit more depth here and there, where a guy can, catch the ball, get the football in his hands, and he's a threat to take it to the house any freaking time. And that's a Devin A-Chain, right? With his ability to make guys miss in space with his speed, with Hill and Waddle with the same thing. Like, they got that game-breaking speed, ability to destroy angles in the open field. Like, that's what it is. I want that anytime you get the ball in space, that you have the ability to make a big play or take it to the house. Like, that's it's going to stress defenses out, bro. Especially in the hot sun in South Florida.
I agree, man. And I think when you look at us last year, when we look at the plays that Sherfield made and Waddle made and Tyreek made, and they made some dynamic plays where they caught the ball quick and they got ghost on teams, right? We saw it in the San Fran game, first play of the game, like first drive of the game, where Sherfield takes one to the crib. We saw it in the Packers game where Waddle just catches a slant post across the field and he's out of there. Like, of course,
like a crossing route.
Yeah, it's a crossing route. We need to see more. We need to see more crossing routes underneath. Just giving our guys the ability to catch it real quick and make a move and go. But
go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, and I mean, if we do that, if we give our guys the opportunity to catch it real quick, and Tua's getting the ball out quick, we're gonna operate a lot better. And I know people want to see these deep balls. They want to see the shots down the field. We're going to take our shots. I mean, but it's not. Yeah,
I don't think it's sustainable though for a long time. That's what I would like to see. Like you said, like take advantage more of the shallow underneath space where you got the linebackers dropping back in those deep zones, right? And you have all that space, and you have more shallow cross drag routes.
So the mesh concept is going to kill teams.
Give them the ball and then go, or mesh concepts, yeah,
and that's what I want to see. And honestly, Mike McDaniel used a lot. He used a lot of that last year. Like, we saw a lot of motion and then wheel concepts and mesh concepts. Like, from that outside receiver position, he would put tyreekhill, on the motion and then run him on a wheel route or run him inside. But I want to see more stuff into his face, like more stuff that's kind of closer to the line of scrimmage. Get it out quick, hit him quick, and let him go. I think it, and we need the check downs got to be there. I didn't like how Mike McDaniel didn't, really give Tua a lot of check down options last year. I want to see more of the check down with the running backs, and that's why I like Dalvin too. He's a great back on with the mismatch with the linebackers. He's gonna be a problem for those linebackers in the mismatch game because he's gonna be able to operate underneath.
Hey, and CB, if I may ask, do you think they'll add maybe some more like halfback slip screens with Dalvin Cook, with Devin A. Chain?
And that's the thing, Irv. We saw none of it last year. We really saw no slip screens. We barely saw a screen game at all. I think we might have ran 10 screens all year. We probably less than that, maybe 5 like running back screens all year, just because it wasn't good for the running backs. The offensive line struggled with it. That's got to be an element to our game. It's got to be. And when you get a guy like Dalvin, he operates in the screen game. I mean, one of the best running backs in the NFL to play in that screen game. So you got to give him the ball if he's a guy that comes in. Devon A. Chain, he's got to become a guy who can run that. But he also has to become a guy who you can count on when it comes to passing the ball. So you got to be able to pass block. And that's the thing. If you get guys in here who aren't versatile and teams can key in on what they do well, you're going to struggle. Like, you got to have guys who are versatile and who can do a little bit of everything. Like, and if you can't do a little bit of everything, teams are going to know what we're doing when you come in the game, and it's not going to be the best situation for us. So
yep.
I like to
and
see
that was a big problem last year, bro. I agree.
Big problem, bro.
What up, Monty Fence? Is that Monty? Yeah. What's up, Monty Fence?
Monty, what's good?
Y'all boys?
What's good, homie?
What's up with you, bro?
Man,
Good, big homie.
we listen. I just think that Mike McDaniel, that was his first year to cut his teeth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was quote unquote offensive coordinator with San Francisco 49ers, aka running game coordinator with the Atlanta Falcons. He's been around to the Houston Texans and the Cleveland Browns, and so he's gotten some seasoning. I expect, just like y'all said, CB, you said, I said this earlier. I saw no screens. I saw no bunch combinations. No bunch concepts. I mean, when you have a young quarterback who you're trying to restore confidence and fidelity to, you have to do things to help him do that, not just go and grab guys that can run really fast.
Yeah. That's a really, you made a really good point. And that's the thing I was disappointed with Mike McDaniel in regards to, and it was the lack of creativity on the offense. I felt like at times we were either throwing the ball or we were running the ball, sparingly. But I didn't see enough jet sweeps. I didn't see enough jet motion with giving Tyreek the ball, giving Waddle the ball. I didn't see enough of the screen game. I didn't see halfback draws. I didn't see quarterback draws. Like, I gotta see a little bit more from his repertoire.
CB,
like, I gotta see a little bit more of that.
CB, I look, keep it just to keep it
Facts,
real.
I agree with that.
If my memory serves me correctly, we ran maybe 1 or 2 jet sweeps this season. We did a wide receiver screen to Waddle in that Baltimore game where he scored. Remember that?
Yep, I remember that.
Where he scored. I think that was his first or second touchdown. He scored. Dude, when you have that, should have been the mantra, especially for the San Francisco game, the LA game, to free up your receiver. Okay, they want to get physical with your receivers.
Yeah.
You move them around screens and shit like that. You make them pay for that aggression.
Yeah. And I don't know what happened in the San Francisco and the Chargers game, but I think Mike McDaniel was really, like, at that point, kind of shell shocked a little bit, because I feel like he had a hard time adjusting. And sometimes that happens. You're as a head coach, you're trying to figure out the defense, you're trying to figure out the offense as well. Now that you have a guy on the defensive end who can just kind of be the guy over there in Fangio, be the guy, hold that down. Maybe he doesn't have those lapses in games, but he's got to create a better game plan for how to attack these defenses. I mean, because at times last year it just wasn't creative enough. I mean, I understand you running the motion and running the wheel motion and stuff like that, but you got to be a little bit better. You got to show us a little bit more, like especially from you coming from being a run game coordinator. Your run game's got to be solid, bro. Like you got to be a dude who can run the ball at will. Like you got to be a team that's going to establish yourself in the trenches and say, hey, there's one thing you're not going to do is be able to stop us in this run game. Like if you can run the ball on anybody at any time, you're going to win the football game. I mean, it just is what it is. If you can impose your will, you're going to beat them up pretty bad, man. But yeah.
Well, one thing I'd like to bring to light is the fact that the second time we played Buffalo Bills, Raheem Mostert had over 130 something yards in the first half. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, my memory serves me correctly.
I think it was. I think it was more along like 7. He probably had like 80, 90 yards.
He had over 100 yards the first half. CB.
Really? Over 100?
Yeah, he had like an 80-yard run, like an 80-yard run and one run. Like I mean,
a 70-yard.
But we were thrashing the fuck out of them.
Yeah,
they didn't know what to do, and then they were scared of the pass, not the run. So the run, we was gashing the shit out of them, and then second half, you go away from the run, and then we allow Josh Allen back on the field.
Yeah. And that's where we gotta be better, man. Shout out to Wolfpack CB83. Who is Wolfpack CB83? What's popping?
I know. I was wondering who is that. Wolfpack CB83.
Is that Mr. Polk or is that Shake? Who is that?
No. I thought at first I thought it was Mr. Miami, but I don't think that's him. It's the way he laughs and songs.
Who Wolfpack CB83? Y'all coming here scared? Don't be scared. Oh, then they leave? Don't leave.
Come on, I don't know who that is for sure, but
that's funny. Hey, shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Please hit the like on your way in real quick. I got my man Iceman in the building. What's good, Iceman? Iceman says that running game will help Tua a lot and not depend on throwing it so much and forcing it so much with Hill. I like it, bro. And that's what I want to see. I want to see balance, guys. If we could get more balance out of this offense, we're going to be a problem. We're going to be a problem. We got the speed. We got the speed element, right? Now we just need the physicality, right? We need the physicality from all levels. Go ahead.
I was just going to say real quick that what's the number one key of helping us stay competitive? What's the number one key to help us stay competitive and giving us the best chance to win?
You mean offensively?
Offensively. Well, offensively speaking.
So the number one thing to keep is I think maintaining the ball, like being able to establish drives and move the football and run the clock. I think that's going to be key for our team. If we can do that and keep the defense off the field, because the defense is, I think our defense is going to be really good, right? So if our defense is really good and we can really wear teams down physically, and the defense gets into a rhythm and they can get off the field, they get off the field on third down, bro, we're going to be up on teams 14, 17-0. And they're going to have to throw the ball at that point. And when you have to force it by throwing the ball and throwing yourself back into a football game, that's when we're going to just tee off on teams and be sacked. We're going to eat in the sack game at that point. So that's what I want to see, because our secondary is going to be so good covering that it's going to give Chubb, Jalen Phillips, and those guys, Christian Wilkins, Siler, it's going to give them time to get to the quarterback. So if we could do that, man, we're going to be a problem, bro. We're going to be a real problem.
But I was saying in the context, like it's keeping. I agree with 100% with what you said, but it's also what I meant was it's keeping Tua healthy. the running game, working shallow more underneath, putting in more, installing more check down options and certain plays, like et cetera, et cetera. Like that is going to keep Tua healthy. That's the biggest. That's the biggest key to having success this season. With everything that you said, is keeping Tua upright and being more dedicated to the run game, bro. Because you're not having him drop back as much. Because like we all know that's not his game. Is dropping 40, 50 times a game. He's not that type of quarterback, right?
Bro, who can really do that? When we look at the NFL, the landscape of the NFL, what quarterbacks can drop back 40 to 50 times and be successful every week? It's just, bro, it just doesn't happen. And I know that's what people want. They want to see Tua throwing the pill around the yard. But if you keep Tua below 30 attempts a game and you run the ball for 150 to 200 yards on the ground and you get 30 attempts running, bro, you're going to kill teams, bro. You're in the fourth quarter, you're going to be playing Mike White and Skylar Thompson. Because our defense is going to be good enough. They're going to get guys off the field. So you just got to be efficient. Just be efficient. Run the ball. And when you go look at the Cleveland game. If y'all want to watch a good football game called offensively, if you want to see us running the ball well, if you want to see us isolate one of the best defensive ends in the league in Myles Garrett and just totally take him out of the game. Totally took him out of the game. Like, go watch the Cleveland game. I'm telling you, that's a great called football game. And that's going to show you the recipes for success for this team. I'm telling you, that's all we need to do. And we'll be beating teams every week.
Oh yeah, and I think CB, I think in that game we could have dropped even more points than what we put on the scoreboard in that game because some of the play calling called stalled drives at the end, right? It was a couple of drives that kind of stalled it, like the Cedric Wilson play. Remember they did like they did that end around, reverse with Cedric Wilson. And Cedric Wilson, they tried to make a pass in that situation, and I think he got a third long or fourth down. Yeah.
So yeah, man. I mean, I shout out to the Miami Heat. I see the Heat up. What is it? Up 12 right now, going into the third.
Damn, you serious?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
103 to 91. The Heat doing their thing right now. I like to
see quarter?
It. It's
fourth quarter.
Yeah, they're going into the fourth quarter right now. So they're going into the fourth. So 12 points going into the fourth. They should be good, man. They just got to hold Boston off and keep them from making a run, man. Yeah, what do you think, Mountie, man, as far as this team goes, bro?
Jimmy Leroy, baby.
I just think that first of all, Tua needs to stay healthy.
Oh yeah.
I think everybody already knows that. And you get some people sporadically saying, oh, well, we need to improve the offensive line. Listen, if you look at it into his injury history, look, it's not due to the offensive line playing poorly. It's on him. So let's dispel that narrative right now. Tua has to show that he can stay healthy, be consistent. And see, the concern thing is, though, because especially with this West Coast, quote unquote, West Coast offensive system, a year, teams around the league have got a year to take on us. Yeah. So I'm hoping Mike McDaniel, he appears to be highly intelligent and smart and articulate and, detail oriented, that he can make some adjustments to put some wrinkles in that shit to where we not be struggle offensively.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly, man. I wanted to share this clip with you guys really quickly. Let me go ahead and put this on here. This is actually Darren Orlowski kind of talking about and let me know if you guys can hear the volume here. Can you see that? We got that? All right, so we're sharing it here. Can you guys hear the volume? Can you hear the volume?
And their coaching staff and Mike McDaniel, their head coach, on the spot here. How did Tua get hurt? And are there things that you can do better to minimize the chances of?
All right, real quick, can you guys hear the volume on that? I want to make sure you can hear the audio. Give me the thumbs up in the chat if you can hear the audio. This is Dan Orlowski. All right, cool. So we're good here. I wanted you guys to see this. This is a really good clip of Dan Orlowski talking about the offensive line. And I want you guys to kind of understand what he's talking about and breaking this down. I really respect his takes. He wasn't the best player, right? But he does a really good job of breaking things down so we understand what's going on. And this is what I want you guys to understand. So he's talking about the Isaiah Wynn signing. He's going to talk a little bit about the offensive line and Tua and how he could be successful moving forward. So let's go ahead and watch this. And I'll stop it at parts just to discuss a little bit of what he's talking about.
I'm going to put Miami and their coaching staff and Mike McDaniel, their head coach, on the spot here. How did Tua get hurt? And are there things that you can do better to minimize the chances of those situations presenting themselves again? Number one, your tackles and shotgun, okay? This is silent cadence at home. Once that ball gets snapped, the left tackle is so late to get out to the defensive end, number one. Number two, make sure you got a back that can handle pass protection. This is the play that Tua gets hurt on, okay? So that's the first thing.
So the first thing he's talking about is the silent count. And when we go back and look at this, Teron Armstead, he's got to be better, man. And honestly, I looked at Armstead last year. He didn't play up to the level that I thought he would play at. And then that's just being completely honest with you and transparent.
Once that gets snapped,
him coming off the ball this slow and not understanding when the ball is being snapped and not getting a jump on this is a problem. It's a problem. He's got to be better. He knows the snap count. That's what we got to understand. He knows the snap count. He knows what's going on. He should be able to see that out of the corner of his eye and make the play. So he's got to be better in situations like this. So that's the first thing. Tackles got to be better. They got to be faster off the ball. They got to be more aggressive. You playing like this and giving guys free runs at your quarterback will get to a hurt. It will get to a kill. You got to be able to put a hand on these guys. If you aren't putting a hand on them, then you're Ole blocking. We used to call that oh shit blocking, right? And I would tell my guys, what are you doing? That's an oh shit block. Because when you get to the point where you're throwing oh shit blocks, you're like, oh shit, I fucked up. The guy's going to go in and kill my quarterback. That's what an oh shit block is. We don't do oh shit blocks. And that's what this is right here. This is an oh shit block. Like, oh shit, he's past me. He's going to kill my guy. This is not good enough from Armstead. It's bad play. And you can't have play like this on your offensive line and be successful. You can't give guys free runs. Free runs put quarterbacks in the hospital.
Is so late to get out to the defensive end, number one. Number two, make sure you got a back that can handle pass protection. This is the play that Tua gets hurt on, okay? So that's the first thing, focusing on those tackles. The second thing, when you go with this hard horizontal play action fake,
see, this is what we talked about on the play action, right? Dancing, a string of pearls, dancing elephants. This is what I used to call this. So if we're doing this, we're selling it. Everybody's going downhill. Look at this tight end right here, 81, right? 81 is basically giving up this guy's getting inside of him. Everybody's got to be square to the line of scrimmage. The front side looks pretty good, right? The front side looks pretty good. Everybody's on that same level. The tight end here's got to do a better job of coming down, not turning his shoulders. Stop opening up the window and giving guys free runs. You can't open it up and give them a free run like that. You got to stay square to the line of scrimmage. You got to keep your pad level low, and you got to keep them in front of you, right? We want a wall in front of our quarterback. So they got to do a better job creating that wall. And Dan Orlowski will talk about it right here, right? I'm going to let him run as he kind of shows you this.
Gets hurt on, okay? So that's the first thing, focusing on those tackles. The second thing, when you go with this hard horizontal play action fake, their offensive line has to stay on the same plane, like the Saints clip I showed. Those guys are on all different levels. What happens there, they get split. The second thing, and this is a little bit teaching to Tua, it's not there, bub. Get the ball out of your hands. We took our shot. We lost. Check it down. This is the play later on the season that ended the season essentially for Tua. Pull the backside guard and the tight end.
So let's talk about this real quick. So he talks about, hey, Tua needs to learn to get the ball out. You got to where's the check down at? Where is his check down? Let's look at this play. His check down is on the other side of the field, right? After the play action.
Like the Saints clip I showed. Those guys are on all different levels. What happens there?
So he has a guy up top here, his running backs up here, kind of in that area. He's got to look to find him. If you don't see your guy open, find your other guy who you could check the ball down to and get it to him. Or Mike McDaniels has to draw up something where maybe the running back goes here and then gets in his face so he could see the check down and it's visible in the area where these guys are. So he gives them some levels to work through. But you got to be able to hit the guy that's not available. I mean, hit the guy that you get your outlet valve.
There they get split.
Got to be able to hit
that. The second thing, and this is a little bit teaching to Tua, it's not there, bub. Get the ball out of your.
Got to get the ball out of your hands. That's how you get hurt. So you can't just be sitting back there chilling and not thinking that guys aren't coming for your neck. It's not the nature of the game.
Your hands. We took our shot. We lost. Check it down. This is the play later on the season that ended the season essentially for Tua. Pull the backside guard and the tight end. This is a sell it downhill quick hitting play action, not the horizontal one. Ball should come out right now. Maybe Tua can't see it because all the body's in the middle of the field. Again, we don't win, Tua. This is when, where is your outlet? Don't try to go make something. That's not who you are, okay, Tua? So, and I really want to drill this home because that first clip that I showed against Buffalo.
So I'm gonna run this back one more time just so he can talk about this.
Right, one action, not the downhill.
Tua's his best when he's operating. And Irv, I see you in the back, but it says device not connected, so I can't bring you up. So Tua operates best when he's getting the ball out quickly, right? He knows where his guys are. He's got to be able to make these plays quick. Operate, throw it to the window, throw it there now, right? You know where he's supposed to be. The ball should be out right now. It should be in that window. Put it right on the logo, right on the tip of the logo, and we're catching it and we're gone. But you can't be sitting here and not, you got to get it out fast. You got to understand where it is and you got to make the throws. Tua's really good at this, but at times he struggles with it. So he's got to be better in year 2 of just understanding, hey, windows. Where are the windows at? Where can I make this play? Where should the ball placement be? He does a really good job of this. He's just got to be better because when the timing isn't there and it breaks down, he's got to figure out where to go with it. He's got to figure out where his outlet valve is. Irv, were you taking a look at this?
Oh, yeah, I was looking at it.
Yeah. So, all right, I'm going to continue it real quick, and he just kind of touches on a couple more points. Here we go.
Hitting play action, not the horizontal one. Ball should come out right now. Maybe Tua can't see it because all the body's in the middle of the field. Again, we don't win, Tua. This is when, where is your outlet? Don't try to go make something. That's not who you are, okay, Tua? So, and I really want to drill this home because that first clip that I showed against Buffalo when he got hurt this year, that was a very similar clip to 2021 when Tua got hurt against the Buffalo Bills. It was 4th and 2. Their tackles in Miami, for some reason, play slow to the snap when they're in shotgun. You can fix that. The second one, that horizontal play action, they got to coach them to stay on the same plane better. They can't give those creases. Marcus knows that. Those guys get on different levels. Quarterback's done. Now, third one, maybe you don't do some of that hard sell play action because Tua may not be able to see. And then the last thing, Tua, where's your outlets? Where's your outlets? Where are your outlets? You're not a runaround creator. Where are your outlets? I think if they do that, I honestly think they can minimize some of the risk when it comes to his injuries.
Great clip.
I'm going to
Great clip. Just a really great breakdown. And if you guys don't follow Dan Orlowski on Twitter, if you don't check his stuff out, go do it, man. I retweet a lot of his stuff. Feel free to, follow me on Twitter. And guys, you gotta, in learning about the game of football, there's a lot of learning. It's a really simple game, really is a simple game. But and learning about it, you get to understand, hey, there's some things that the Dolphins can do to alleviate some of this pressure on Tua, alleviate, the issues with the injuries. Like Mike McDaniels understands that. I think we got the right guys in the building, right? When we look at the coaching staff, when we look at the players, when we look at the level of players, I think this training camp is going to be one of the best training camps we've had. And it's going to really, strengthen our team and get us to the point where we're ready to play early in the season and we're making a run at it. So I'm gonna shut it down. I want to do some final takes. I really appreciate you guys coming out, Mountie and Irv. You guys are great co-hosts for tonight, man. Y'all always got some great points. Mountie, I'm gonna go ahead and start with you. Go ahead and give me your final takes, your final thoughts on the football team, where we are, maybe where we can get better at still, and where you see us towards the end of next year. Are we going to be making a run at this thing or what? What do you think?
I see us very much 13. Well, okay, put it like this. I say if Mike McDaniels plays, if he calls the games like he should call the games, and again, football has injuries as well, so we get decimated by injuries. Well,
Yeah.
all bets are off. However, on a good note, I think we win 12 games at a minimum, 12 games. And I just would like to see Mike McDaniel committed to the run. I know we got a $30 million receiver, but football is about balance.
It is. Yep.
So, I mean, you can't be predictable. You can't be, people can't be in your huddle. You can't have tendencies like that. So,
Yeah.
look, fins up.
Hey, I appreciate you coming on, bro. You always got some good takes, man. I mean, how do you feel about Tua at this point? I know you were kind of off Tua for a while.
Look, Tua, first of all, one thing I did say is that he did say at the end of the conclusion of the year, he said he has to do different things to protect himself and to make himself more, to be able, NFL ready, if you will, to be able to endure the rigors of a 17 game or possibly 20 game NFL season. So that was promising. But he has to do what he needs to do. He's the floor general, so he's our point guard. So he needs to understand what he needs to do, whether it be physically, spiritually, mentally, and schematically on the field. So,
yeah, man. Really good takes, man. I think we're prime. I think we're due too. I think our time is coming. So I appreciate you coming on, Mountie. Hey, appreciate you. I love having you, bro.
It's a pleasure to be. As always, it's always a pleasure to be on. And peace and love and God's graces to you and your family, man.
Hey, thanks, bro. Same to you and the family. Peacings, blessings, love, more life, more blessings, bro. Love you. Be good, bro.
All
right, later. All right, man. Irv, man, I appreciate you coming through, bro. I know you was on the road a little bit. You was moving around, boy, but I appreciate you. Always, bro, Irv. I like the fact that I don't even know I don't know if you played football, if you coached or whatever. I don't know your background, but I love the fact that you've kind of dived deep into the game of football, and I love the fact that you take it seriously, bro, and you know what you're talking about. So I love that, bro.
I appreciate that, man. I'm a student of the game. I never really played football like that, but I'm a student of the game. I love studying the game, watching film and stuff like that. It's really intriguing. Especially I'm kind of a nerd, and I get a little bit obsessed with certain details, whether it's on offense, defense, pass coverage, run, whatever it is. It's really fascinating, bro.
That's dope, and bro, and I can tell you take it seriously, and that's honestly, everybody doesn't have to take it seriously. That's not for everybody, right? Um,
Yeah.
everybody has a different type of fanship, and I respect people where they are. I just know, when I get on here and talk about the Dolphins, I'm gonna try to my best to be objective. I'm a fan too, though, so there isn't a homer aspect to it. Like, these are my guys. You aren't gonna talk about my guys because my guys are over your guys every day. It's Dolphins versus everybody, right? In my opinion. So I'm gonna be objective, but I'm also going to critique guys and say, hey, this is where we need to be better. This is how, we could get better as a football team, because that's
Of course.
and that's when it comes down to it. That's all they want to do as a team. They want to be able to, after games, get into the film room, watch what they did right, what they did wrong, correct it, get better for next week, and go out there and execute the next week. That's the whole game of football. It's about game planning for a team. Hey, going out there and playing the game, evaluating how you played against that team, where you did well, where you could do better, fixing that during the week, preparing for the next team, and going out there and executing and doing it all over again for 17 weeks, bro. And when you do it the right way, and the game plans are on point, and you're executing on offensive defense, you have really good seasons. And I think that's what they're looking to put together, is just a really good season. But it starts with being consistent and being healthy. Like, the best ability is availability. If you're not on the field, you can't perform. So that's going to be a big part of it. And I'm looking forward to being healthy, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, that's number one key.
Yeah, number one key, bro. Any final takes before you get out of here?
Nah, man. Like I said, when it comes to Tua, I just don't want him to be super aggressive. Sometimes it could come to bite him in the ass a little bit. Just, take the check down, bro. Learn to throw the football away if nothing's there. Let's see another down. Just, especially in the NFL, there's this rule: any play forward is a positive play, bro. Whether it be 3 yards, 5 yards, what have you, right? Even if it's a check down to the flats or whatever, right? So I just want Tua to just take what the defense gives them and just learn to be smart with the football, bro. And I think, given how much he's improved over the past 3 years, especially from last year, I think he's just going to continue to grow and grow and grow. And if he just, has growth in those small aspects of his game, I think he's going to be great for us, and especially in this scheme, he's phenomenal. So I think our defense just needs to get better, especially in pass coverage, run defense. I think they're just going to continue to build on from what they were last year. So as far as everybody staying healthy and everybody doing their jobs and stuff like that, and McDaniel can clean up some of the mistakes that they had, I think we'll be fine this year, bro. And I expect the Dolphins to be 12-5 this year.
Yeah, man, and I agree with you, man. I appreciate you coming on, bro. It's always love.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
Feel free to come through anytime.
As always. I appreciate it, bro. Thanks for having me on. It's always a great time here. God bless you and your family, brother, and you have a great night, man.
Hey, same to you and the fan, bro. God bless, bro. Later.
All right.
All right, guys, that's it for the night show. Hey, I appreciate everybody coming out, man. It was a cool show. Got the chance to, talk about the Dolphins, talk about where we are right now. Hey, where we could be. Can the Miami Dolphins make a run of this thing? Man, I really do.
I hope so.
Okay. I hope the Miami Dolphins can make a run, man. I think, we're prime. I think Tua's got to stay healthy. Tua Leroy could do it, bro. He could do it. He's got to stay healthy. He's got to stay upright. He's gonna take hits, but you got to learn how to fall, man. That's part of the game, is taking hits and taking sacks. Learn how to fall. Learn how to get down without hitting your head, and we're gonna be all right, man. We're gonna be all right. Just we gonna get it done, because we saw it last year. We saw the glow. You just got to continue to be consistent and get after it.
All right, Leroy. Who's the one and only Max?
I am.
So Tua Leroy could get it done, man. There's no doubt in my mind. I think this team is. I think this is going to be the best team we fielded in a very, very, very long time. I think the Dolphins will come out and play well early in the season. It'll carry over to later in the season, and in December, January, February, we'll be playing meaningful football games. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, guys. Turn on notifications. You already know how we get down, man, over here. It's a good damn time, man. It's a good damn time. Appreciate y'all. We get after it. We have fun. But we know football. We know football. We could break that down all day, any day. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, I'm out. I appreciate y'all. Peace.
Came from the bottom, that's foreign. I swear that I'm up for the sun in the morning. Oof, hey, I gotta flex. I need a Nike bag, give me the check. I need the money and power, respect, but I promise I'm repping the O to the dead. Hey, oof, I sort them out of my way. I don't got nothing to say. Now they can't run at my pace. Yeah, they know that we ain't the same. 402, we rap the gang. I told them this ain't a game.
Hey, who is this dude across the pond? Who is this guy? So I know all football. You just know Dolphins. Keep it reals, bro. I will take you. I'd take you out to the backyard and beat you like a stepchild. Stop playing with me, bro. I know everything about football. If you want to get on a panel with me and challenge me to something, feel free. Feel free. You already know what time it is. I ain't backing down to nobody when it comes to anything football related, breaking it down, looking at it. Let's do it. If you feeling froggy, send me the invite. I'll jump on your channel, or I can send you the invite and you can jump on here and we can talk some football. Because I don't just know Dolphins. I know everything about football. College, NFL, XFL, we can break it down. Feel free, bro. You already know what time it is. What's wrong with this guy, man? We get after it over here.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I know all football. Let's not do that. You already know what time it is. Vince Take with CB83. I'm out.
Came from the bottom, that's foreign. I swear that I'm up for the sun in the morning. Oof, hey, I gotta flex. I need a Nike bag, give me the check. I need the money and power, respect, but I promise I'm repping the O to the dead. Hey, oof, I sort them out of my way. I don't got nothing to say. Now they can't run at my pace. Yeah, they know that we ain't the same. 402, we rap the gang.